Hello and welcome to QTV 7 p.m. news. To present, my name is Jeffrey Jambo. Headlines. The head of the United Church of Zambia UCZ has pronounced a curse on athletes who gutted the Lusaka City market last week. National Planning and Development Minister Laki Mulusa says the PF government is not desperate in getting the International Monetary Fund bailout package. The Iraqi army has been mopping up the last pockets of resistance from Islamic State IS militants in Mosul after a long battle to recapture the city. Now the news in detail. The head of the United Church of Zambia UCZ has pronounced a curse on arsonists who gutted Lusaka City Market last week. The head of the UCZ made this pronouncement at the reception service at UCZ's Lilai congregation, where President Edgar Lungu also attended the service. UCZ Synod Bishop Sidney Sichilima says the UCZ can never operate as a political party but above narrow interests so that it remains true to its mission of preaching peace and unity. Bishop Sichilima says those who burnt Lusaka City Market have invited a curse not just on themselves but on generations after them. He says people shed tears. They are heartbroken because they have lost their livelihoods. He adds that the God Zambians worship is greater than the dark spirits that want to destroy the country. Bishop Sichilima says as the Church, United Church of Zambia, they will not take sides in politics, but they are here to offer spiritual guidance. Bishop Sichilima has applauded President Lungu's national approach to governance, saying he is even doing work where he was not voted. And President Lungu has maintained that his primary role is to protect life and property, and would therefore not allow those who proclaimed Armageddon to succeed. The head of state says no Zambian must be worried about the measured response he has taken to give police more powers to curb arson and vandalism of vital installations. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces has assured the nation that his administration would not act with cruelty, but fairly and always in the interest of the nation. President Lungu says if the measures he has put in place don't work, he will go as far as a state of emergency to ensure people are protected against lawlessness. National Planning and Development Minister Laki Mulusa says the PF government is not desperate in getting the International Monetary Fund IMF bailout package. Mr. Mulusa says the IMF bailout package is just an investment perception. Mr. Mulusa has told journalists in Lusaka during the Media Interaction Forum that Zambia's economy can peak even without the assistance of the IMF. He says copper prices on the international market are improving, with China requesting for more of Zambia's copper. And Mr. Mulusa says government has induced fiscal discipline as seen by some of the austerity measures taken by President Edgar Lungu, such as cutting on a government expenditure. He says, for instance, the government wants to do away with printing of pay slips by introducing electronic systems, saying this will result in saving over $8 million every year.
And previously, IMF would come and read the Riot Act to you. They would come and tell you there must be a wage freeze, stop recruitments, increase electricity tariffs, increase fuel so that it is cost reflective. That is what brings social discontentment, because it comes as a shock. You understand? People feel it. But what we did ourselves is that we've written our own story. We've done away with everything that the IMF would have ordered us to do away with. So what conditionality will the IMF tell us? And when we meet the IMF, they simply tick, oh yes, we hope you won't go back to subsidies in fuel, this is good. Yes, we are happy with your electricity tariffs revision. Yes, we are happy with this. All they are saying to our story, they are reading our story and they're saying yes to everything. And that's why we're not even desperate to go into engagement with the IMF.
And Mr. Mulusa is confident that the PF government will succeed its $20 billion infrastructure projects running from 2011 through to 2021.
We started the infrastructure rollout at the beginning of 2011. There were a lot of road projects that were undertaken which were politically induced and not economically. So by simply saying we are suspending this project, we are building this project, because we know that once we construct this project and put up toll roads, toll gates, we are going to receive money, which money can then help us build this other project, which we are going to consider to be a social project. Just that brings in quite a lot of savings. Because I'm sure you remember that the Minister of Infrastructure and Housing announced in Parliament that the first 3 months of this year, we received 234 million kwacha from the 4 toll gates. And that 234 million kwacha wasn't there then. It wasn't being raised. Now it is being raised, meaning that where we should have taken, where we should have spent the 234 million kwacha constructing a road, taking it from budgetary allocations, we are now not going to do that, meaning that we are collecting more monies than we were collecting previously.
The Starkey Hearing Foundation has nominated First Lady Esther Lungu to receive an award at the 17th annual So the World May Hear Award in Minnesota of the United States of America. Starkey Hearing Foundation President Richard Brown says Mrs. Lungu has been chosen as the 2017 Humanitarian Honoree at an award gala because of her enormous contribution to the underprivileged people in Zambia. Mr. Brown says Mrs. Lungu, as the First Lady of the Republic of Zambia and as the patron of the Esther Lungu Foundation Trust, has empowered and inspired so many Zambians to make a difference in their communities, hence the gala's committee decision to award her at an event in Minnesota this week. He further says the Starkey Hearing Foundation has noted with great delight that Mrs. Lungu is among those that have inspired efforts to accelerate provision of hearing aids, raising more awareness and connect people with their families and communities. And Zambia's Charge d'Affaires in Washington, D.C., Joseph Chilaija, says the First Lady is this week on Thursday, July 13, 2017, expected in Minnesota, USA, to receive the award from the Starkey Hearing Foundation. Mr. Chilaija says the Embassy of Zambia in Washington, D.C. is delighted that Mrs. Lungu's charity work is not only impacting the lives of Zambians, but also receiving global recognition by organizations such as the Starkey Hearing Foundation. He says the First Lady is expected to return back to Zambia on July 17, 2017, after attending to a series of activities lined up for her in Minnesota. Starkey Hearing Foundation, a charity foundation by William F. Austin, gives the gift of hearing to people in need in the U.S. and around the world. In Zambia, the number of people with hearing impairment is approximately more than 750,000 people. And in sub-Saharan Africa, the number is as high as 36 million people. The foundation focuses on hearing health care, education and support, and has cared for more than 1.1 million patients and provided 1.9 million hearing devices in more than 100 countries. This is contained in a statement issued to QTV News by Embassy of the Republic of Zambia First Secretary, Press and Public Relations, Cosmas Chileshe. The Foundation for Democratic Process FODEP has encouraged politicians in the country to strive in promoting democracy. FODEP Executive Director Mwenge Chimfembe says politics should not destroy Zambia's democracy, but build and promote it. Mr. Chimfembe says politicians should know that democracy is all about the people, and thus the need to ensure that they promote good tenets of democracy. He is also encouraging politicians against allowing emotions to control them as they politic on national matters.
I think it's important to, first of all, understand that democracy is about the people, and it's about predictability of systems in the interest of the people. That's a more reason why we talk about the rule of the law, because what you are trying to do is to avoid a situation where emotions, preside over laws, where human feelings preside over predictable systems. Of course, democracy itself is quite an elusive term. It may mean a lot of things to many people and may be contextual. But however, in our own environment, what does this mean? I think that should be the question. And it's important to look at certain factors that, ought to be observed for one to arrive at a conclusion whether there is a democracy or not, or where indeed the democracy is stalling or it's progressing.
You're watching QTV 7 p.m. News. We take a break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Cece.
QTV brings to your home a new program that will change the way information is disseminated.
A show like no other that aims to inform you.
Hold up, wait, we did it again. Beat German in a game. They never saw it coming, then we wiped them like a hurricane. Ball on the footy.
Educate you.
Today's topic, I'm looking at yourself. Know that they brought you, but I mean it by yourself, which is a basic function of the living organ.
Motivate and inspire you.
The Base, Saturdays, 15 hours. Don't miss.
It's a Saturday, the only time your TV set comes alive.
Welcome back. The National Malaria Elimination Program epidemiologist Wusiku Amainza says southern African countries, including Zambia, have seen drastic declines in malaria cases in 2017. Dr. Amainza has told QTV News in an interview that the countries have made steady progress in conducting research towards malaria prevention in the southern region. Dr. Amainza, however, states that countries in the southern region should be very careful as the declines may not be permanent. He, however, states that Zambia as a country is doing well in malaria prevention but should not lose focus until total elimination of the epidemic is achieved. Dr. Amainza has since advised government to invest more in more research mechanisms to mitigate any more chances of the epidemic.
So far the results have been encouraging. I think most of the countries have reported that they've seen declines in malaria, and we have to though be very careful because these declines are not permanent. Malaria can resurge, so we always have to be on top of the game, as it were, for us to be able to make sure that we mitigate any chances of any kind of epidemics. So we are doing well, but we shouldn't lose focus. We should just continue pushing ahead until we actually achieve total elimination in the region. So far,
the Civil Society for Poverty Reduction (CSPR) says the country's reputation as a beacon of peace has continued attracting foreign direct investment. CSPR Executive Director Patrick Nshindano says Zambia is one of the countries in the sub-Saharan Africa with good foreign direct investments. Mr. Shindano tells QTV News that the country should harness this status by not deteriorating in its political situation, which attracts the said foreign direct investment in all the country's economic sectors, such as tourism, mining, manufacturing, and other key sectors. He adds that it is the peace that the country has enjoyed for so many years that attracts investors and should be upheld at all times. Mr. Shindano has further advised government to put up measures that will ensure that the country's peaceful status is maintained.
I believe the country still enjoys quite a good confidence on the part of the investors. I believe it's one of those countries in the sub-Saharan Africa, and if you look at trends in terms of foreign direct investment, it's one of those that has been highly rated in that direction. But obviously, if we continue on this trajectory where we see deteriorating political situation, which will also lead into civil strife, that actually scares away investors, because one of the key indicators for investment is basically political stability. And the peace that Zambia has enjoyed for so many years is one of those assets that has led us to actually inviting or attracting so much foreign direct investment in this country in all sectors, starting from tourism, mining, manufacturing, and so on.
The Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection is set to construct 8 more dams in the next 2 weeks to supplement those that have been constructed countrywide. Water Development Permanent Secretary Eddie Chomba has told QTV News that government is ensuring that people are in tandem with Strategic Development Goal number 6, which calls for the accessibility of water. Dr. Chomba says government will erect dams, especially in areas such as the Eastern Province, which have been stricken by the effects of climate change. He has disclosed that government has completed construction and rehabilitation of dams such as Chikowa Dam in Mfuwe, Shibalashi Dam in Mansa, and many more in Mwinilunga and Kasempa. Dr. Chomba has hailed Secretary to the Cabinet Dr. Roland Msiska and President Edgar Lungu for ensuring that the ministry delivers on its mandate to provide safe and clean water not only for domestic use but also economic activities such as irrigation to support the agriculture sector. Last week, government flagged off the groundbreaking ceremony of the construction of Kimilombe Dam in Kalumbila district, meant for the people of Kimilombe village. Meanwhile, Dr. Chomba has disclosed that the 5.5 million kwacha dam is being constructed by government in collaboration with Lumwana Barrick Mining Company in readiness for the next rainy season.
And the principles. Let me also announce that for the 8 dams that you have been following up now, since we have almost completed those, some that is to say, we are offloading 8 more dams in the next 2 weeks or so. Mobilization will start by the contractors, and we want to embark on the provinces that we are also badly hit with the climate change. Eastern Province, Shibuyunji, there will be one, Central Province as well. And to just make sure our people are equitably, cared for. And so we are doing, what we can, and we are calling everybody to partner with us in terms of development itself, in terms of idea sharing, and also to make sure we develop, protect, and safeguard the same water that we're talking about. Last week, we, in the ministry and my colleagues, we flagged off the groundbreaking ceremony in Kalumbila district. Lumwana Barrick Mining Company, together with our ministry, we have started to construct a Kimilombe Dam. And this is meant for our people in a Kimilombe village. It is a 5.5 million kwacha dam, and the works have already started.
The Young Women Christian Association President Lucy Lungu has appealed to banks and financial institutions in Lusaka to help out the affected city marketeers by offering cheap, affordable, and quick loans. We have more news coming up after the break.
Turn it up. Turn it up. The Hype.
It could have been no one night stand. Go teacher broadcast school.
If you haven't heard of Zalile, catch the very best of local music videos live every Saturday at 17 hours. Only on QTV.
Welcome back. The Young Women Christian Association President Lucy Lungu has appealed to banks and financial institutions in Lusaka to help out the affected city marketeers by offering cheap, affordable, and quick loans. On Tuesday last week, a fire swept through Lusaka's city market. The blaze, which is said to have started at dawn, destroyed property worth millions of kwacha on the entire southern part of the city market. Mrs. Lungu told Q News in an interview that banks and other financial institutions will play a major and important role in offering assistance to the marketeers. She has hoped that banks will come up with loans packages or initiatives that will not include the marketeers having to wait for a long time to access the loans, and also the marketeers having to pay back in a short time or with huge amounts of money. She has also disclosed that her association is on hand offering counseling to the affected women and youths, stating that losing a business or source of income in such a manner is a traumatizing thing that requires the victims to be counseled and helped to go through this trying time.
So what is important now is not to go on blaming one another, but to find a solution to how these women are going to be assisted. Would really want to look into the various banks, for example, through the government's initiative. They could find at least some form of solution to get those women get started with their businesses, because most of those women take care of children, and that was the only source of income, and it means we are affected. the children will not continue going to school. So really, we are appealing to the government and many other NGOs to come forward and see how best we can assist these women, and especially the economic powers such as banks. They should really come seriously, not to make some form of discrimination, but to make sure that the young people and the women who have been affected are included in the package of assistance. And I'm sure as YWC as well will be more than welcome to make sure that issues of counseling to stabilize their mindset as they restart their businesses will come in. Because when something has been destroyed like that, you get traumatized. And when you are traumatized, the whole family is traumatized. So there's nothing really that you can do.
A public and private partnership specialist, Stephen Gumbo, has advised government to undertake surveys and public consultations before certain policies in some parts of the country. Dr. Gumbo notes with concern that some policies and infrastructure in some parts of the country may not be necessary, but says resources from such implementations can be rolled out to some sectors of the country where need may be. Dr. Gumbo also notes that some roads which have been constructed in the country deserve to be in areas which are coupled with so many economic activities. He has since advised government to engage in consultations and sensitizations at all levels before implementing certain policies.
Autonomous road is given to somewhere where it's tangibly used for trade and commercial issues. It will be more, you have seen what is more better than a road where somebody is using at what we call a footpath. You see, where somebody has been using a footpath, but now we want to give him a bituminous road. I mean, you have seen what it is. So priorities matter. So that's why I'm saying that it depends. These consultations have to be done at every level. Autonomous.
Lukanga Water and Storage Company Public Relations Officer Siwa Mwene says the effects of climate change on the dams in some districts has affected its effective service delivery to the people in the province. Mrs. Mwene has told Q News in an interview that the drought that characterized the 2015 rainy season led to the drying up of some dams like the Chivila Dam in Mumbwa district, which is used in the process of providing water to the residents. She has disclosed that the water utility company has now had to rely on groundwater from the boreholes, which is not adequate for the whole district. Mrs. Mwene has also disclosed that the utilities service delivery has been affected by the delay by some customers to settle their bills. She has explained that most customers prefer settling bills when their water supply has been disconnected, a situation which has impacted negatively on the effective supply of water in the province.
And then concerning challenges, we do have some bit of challenges. For example, if you look at this is what we're calling the climate effects of Chivila Dam in Mumbwa. We have a problem where, because of the drought that we experienced in the previous season, before the last rain season, we had a place where water dried up because the stream was also drying up. And then there were a lot of other people who were also interested in having the same water source. So they had put in some pumps and they were able to do their gardening. And there was very little water that was getting in the dam. So because of that, we ended up having the dam drying up and only just a small portion that remained with the water there. So those are some of the challenges that we have. And also challenges when it comes to paying for bills. Sometimes people wait until they're disconnected before they're able to pay. But you know that for us to be able to sustain our services, we need people to pay their bills in time. And we also have projects that are running that have been sponsored by our government and also internally generated funds. The ones that have been sponsored by government, for example, we have in Serenje, a project which is costing 20 million. At the time that we're signing the memorandum of understanding with the government, it was before the rebate.
This is QTV 7 p.m. News. We'll take another break. Stay with us.
QTV brings to you a show taking you on an exciting roller coaster as you meet remarkable people from all walks of life, sharing their extraordinary life stories, arts, entertainment, lifestyle. Join Marvelous, Sipokazi, Lucia and Kirsty on the new and exciting magazine show, 54.
This is QTV 7 p.m. News. We take a look at the stories making headlines again. The head of the United Church of Zambia, UCZ, has pronounced a curse on arsonists who gutted Lusaka City Market last week. National Planning and Development Minister Lucky Mulusa says the PF government is not desperate in getting the International Monetary Fund bailout package. In international news, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi has arrived in Mosul to congratulate Iraqi forces for their victory in the city. Mr. Abadi was in the city to announce its liberation and declare victory, his office said in a statement. Iraqi forces backed by US-led airstrikes have been battling to retake Mosul since 17 October last year. Islamic State militants seized it in June 2014 before taking much of Iraq's Sunni Arab heartland and proclaiming a caliphate straddling Iraq and Syria. Kurdish Peshmerga fighters, Sunni Arab tribesmen and Shia militiamen have also been involved in the battle. The Iraqi Prime Minister arrived to congratulate the armed forces and the Iraqi people on the final defeat of IS in Mosul on Sunday, the statement said. An official speech is expected soon. Tens of thousands of people are due to rally in the Turkish city of Istanbul at the end of a 450-kilometer protest march against the government of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Huge crowds have joined the Justice March since it began in the capital Ankara on the 15th of June. They are demonstrating against the mass dismissals and imprisonments that followed last year's failed coup. President Erdogan has accused the marchers of supporting terrorism. Bread used to celebrate the Eucharist during Roman Catholic Mass must not be gluten-free, although it may be made from genetically modified organisms, the Vatican has ruled. In a letter to bishops, Cardinal Robert Serra said the bread can be low gluten, but he said there must be enough protein in the wheat to make it without additives. The new rules are needed because the bread is now sold in supermarkets and on the internet, the Cardinal said. Roman Catholics believe bread and wine served at the Eucharist are converted into the body and blood of Christ through a process known as transubstantiation. That's what we have for you at 7 p.m., but we'll come back again at 10 p.m. with more news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.